And thank you for joining me today. And my name's Johnny Williams. I'm your host for the Motivation Minutes. And I want to welcome everyone who's watching this program today, either live or on replay. And yeah, I just want to thank you for joining in. Welcome. Well, this program is a review of Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success. Now, the law of success are principles laid down by Napoleon Hill, an industrialist who lived in the middle of the 20th century, and he interviewed over thousands of tycoons, business people, to find out what were the keys to success. How could one prepare oneself for a life of success? Well, he laid down several principles. We're reviewing the 16 of them in this series. So let's do a recap. We talked about forming a definite chief aim, where you would, set out your goals, your plans, and pretty much a roadmap for your goals, how you wanted to achieve goal, what you wanted to achieve and how quickly you wanted to achieve it. You put that down in detail and prepare yourself to, change. We then talked about self-confidence, and the key to self-confidence was making use of the law of autosuggestion. You basically program yourself, you reprogram yourself, and you change your wiring to a confident, positive, sure-footed person, and you don't let anything keep you from accomplishing your goals. Today, we're going to talk about the habit of saving. Now, first of all, I'm going to read a passage to you. I always read some passages to you first. So I'll read the first passage, and it's the only lasting favor which the parent may confer upon the child is that of helping the child to help itself. So, man is a combination of flesh, bone, blood, hair, and brain cells. These are the building blocks. These are the materials out of which he shapes, through the law of habit, his own personality. Now, saving money is essential for success. The big question in most people's minds is, well, how do I save money? Well, in order to address this question, we have to talk about another law, and that is the law of habit. Now, the law of habit, through the law of habit, a man shapes his personality through repetition. Any act indulged in a few times can become a habit. Now, personally, what I've experienced is that if you perform an act or do something 21 times, is what I've learned over the course of my life, that it takes 21 days usually to firmly establish a habit. And once you commit yourself to undertaking some action for 21 days consecutively, you have pretty much formed a habit. And once that habit is formed, to get rid of it, you need to replace it with another habit. This is where the difficulty comes in, because the habits that we form are actually, they form physical connections in our brains. Our brains become wired to these patterns. It becomes very difficult to break out of these patterns once you've established them in your mind. So once fixed, a habit impels one to action. It drives you forward. Now, here's the rub. We build walls of limitation through habit. So millions of people go through their lives in poverty and want because of the law of habit. They don't understand the connection between the law of habit and the law of attraction, right? So the law of attraction states that, like attracts like. You're going to, whatever you put out, you're going to get back. Well, if you've created a habit of living in lack and limitation, not releasing the need to live in lack and limitation, then you're going to go through what's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. This habit is going to keep you in this lower vibrational state, which is going to attract lower vibrational people, lower vibrational events. You're just going to be stuck, and you're going to be this habitually broke person, always wondering why life is happening to them instead of instead of them making life happen. You know, why is this happening to me instead of making things happen? Well, um, so once you've got this habit formed, the fear of poverty kicks in, and that's one of the six basic fears. Remember that we're supposed to be trying to overcome. That we've got the six basic fears. Poverty is probably one of the worst ones. Formation of the savings habit does not mean that you shall limit your earning capacity. So, in other words, most people get afraid of saving because they think that's going to lead to poverty, that they're going to have less. When in reality, it's the opposite. You shall apply the law so that it only conserves that which you earn in a systematic manner. This places you in greater opportunities to take advantage of those that are willing to help you if they see that you're able to control your own finances. If you're able to save your own money, you are more likely to get assistance from someone that is in a position to advance you the aid that you need. You will assure through the law of habit success for yourself in two ways. One, through the law of definite chief aim. So remember, if you've got the definite chief aim, you've got your roadmap, you've got your goals set out, and you know where you're going. So using the law of chief aim, you're going to have an accurate description of what you want, including the money that you want and how you're going to get there. Through the law of habit, you're going to keep the definite chief aim fixed firmly in your consciousness, in your mind. You're going to dwell on this. I've got copies of my definite chief aim posted everywhere. I've got them on little post-it notes. I've got it written down. I write out my goals daily. I'm focused on a brighter future. My future's not that bad, but it's always good to have a little more, I guess. I'm expecting a couple more grandchildren, so I'm looking forward to, um, you know, making things a little bit better for them, not just for me. Second, you're also going to increase your earning through the law of habit because your earnings increase, the proportion of money that you're able to put aside. Because Napoleon Hill recommends that you put aside a specific percentage of your income as received. So if you get paid weekly, you put away a percentage weekly. Monthly, you put away a percentage monthly. But you want to always put away the same percentage, and you don't want to touch it. Now, as your worth increases, that percentage is going to increase because your pay is increasing. So you're actually going to be making more money. You're going to be putting away more for yourself. By urging yourself and demanding of yourself this increased earning power, you're going to be laying aside a definite amount of money. This will start to remove any imaginary limitations that you've set up for yourself, and you're going to start looking at things much better. Now, let me jump ahead. We talk and we think only of abundance here. If you have a tale of woe, please keep it, as we do not want it. This was a sign posted in a law office in Chicago. It's better not to discuss poverty issues and poor. Best thing you can do for someone that's in a financial situation is show them that they can be successful. If you can be successful, they can be successful too. There are certain steps that you must follow to achieve your goals, and if you do them, you're going to be very successful. Um, there are two types of debt. The fear of poverty is one of the most destructive of the six basic fears. There's two classes of debt. The first class of debt is the debt for luxuries. This is a dead loss. This is what a lot of us do. We'll get some money and then we'll take that money right out. First thing we're trying to think of is how can we spend it? Well, that's not good debt. Good debt is the debt that's incurred for professional or business trading services, merchandise, which can be converted back into assets. So first class of debt is to be avoided at all costs. So, you want to do that. So, and the only time you want to engage in the second class of debt is if you don't overdo it and you stay on a course of savings so that you can then pay that debt back. Now, let's jump right to mastering the fear of poverty. So to master the fear of poverty, we must break the habit of spending. That's another an evil that we all will get this money, like I said earlier, and then we just want to go out and the first thing we're thinking is, how can I spend this money? Well, shift that paradigm, change that thinking, and instead of thinking, how can I liquidate this, think about how you can put aside, make saving a habit. Even if it's a penny a day, even if it's $2 a week, something to establish this habit. If you can do it over 21 days, that's even better because the habit would be firmly established. um, he goes on and he talks about, he lays out different charts of how finances will compound, how your savings will compound over the course of a 10-year period if you put a certain amount away. Now, I recommend that everyone get this book. Here's the book again, Law of Success. You know this book, Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. He gives lots of charts and examples in here about how you can change your life. So he's got charts about how your money would compound over the course of 10 years. I recommend getting the book or getting online and investigating some of Napoleon Hill's literature. He was a wonderful man. He lays out how much one should save. Um, Pretty much 20% of what you're earning should go into a savings account. I'm just going to lay that out quickly. Living, clothes, food, and shelter should account for 50%. Education, 10%. Recreation, 10%, and life insurance, 10%. Now, unfortunately, our parents don't tell us about the spending habit because they're just as guilty as we are. So, so what has to happen is that you've got to throw off the training from your parents. Your parents, if they didn't teach you to put money aside on a regular basis, then they did you a disservice. I strongly recommend that you begin this habit of saving now, and that begins by breaking the habit of spending now. Um, because there's absolutely, you're sure never, you will never be financially independent unless you can break the habit of spending. Let me jump ahead. He talks about this guy named Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman's story, you've got to read this. If I had more time, and if you want more time with me, you can always schedule an intensive, and we can work out the details later, and we can go over a lot of this one-to-one. He talks about he made $1 million, and he didn't have a cent to show for it. His whole life was spent in pursuit of a better life for himself and his family. And even though he achieved that, he didn't put anything away. He was lavish in his spending. He loved taking care of his friends and families and as a result, when all was said and done, at the end of the day, he was penniless. He was pretty much a broken man. He spent all his money up. He spent it on his friends and family. But he went back, looked at his finances, and saw if he had put away just a small fraction of what he had spent on entertainment and on luxuries, that he would have had well over, what was it, $100,000 at the end of his 25 years of working to accumulate a huge amount of money, which he ended up not having anyway. Opportunities come to those who save money. That's the key. So if you've accumulated some savings and you struck by some idea, you can invent something, or you've got a plan that can be, and you need help, you need working capital. Well, if you go to someone who's got that capital available, invariably they're going to ask, what have you got? Have you put something away for this? Those who have put something away always get the help that they need, because they've demonstrated that they can not only handle their own money, but they probably do well handling yours too. So a lot of guys, there's stories in here about Henry Ford was one of them. The guys that started the El Producto cigar company, these were guys who, again, Rockefeller, these people had the habit of saving, so that when it came time for them to initiate a project or to build an industry and they needed resources, those resources became available because others trusted them with their resources. Now, let's skip ahead because we are quickly running out of time here. Here, I'm at the end, so I just about made it. If you have any questions, I'm going to ask for questions at the end. If not, we'll end the session. So I'm going to read, let's see, here's some scripture to you at the end. I call it scripture because this book is it's like a Bible of success. All right. Neither a borrower nor lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Shakespeare. And I'll read one more to you, and then I'm going to let you go. When you do not know what to do or which way to turn, smile. This will relax your mind and let the sunshine of your happiness into your soul. All right. So, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. And our next lesson is going to be on initiative and leadership. I look forward to you joining me. Have a wonderful day. Bye.